We can't holy and true. He holds the keys of David. That means he has the authority. He opens and shuts doors. Caesar can't open and shut a door. Caesar and culture and all that surrounds us, none of that has the power to keep us out of heaven, out of a relationship with God. God and God alone has that opportunity. He knows their deeds. He knows what they're up to. He knows that their strength is little, that they are overwhelmed in a culture, in a community, by nations who worship the emperor and who worship other pagan gods. They're little bitty, a drop in the bucket. He knows their situation. But they've kept his word because they determined that Jesus' word is true. They knew the stories of the disciples who gave their lives post-resurrection. They knew the stories of the resurrected Lord. And like the disciples, they chose not to deny his name. Today we're diving in, like I said, to Revelation chapter 3, 9 through 13. In 3:9, he tells us his faithful people what he's going to do for them. Now you got to remember, in Revelation chapter 1, he says, look, this is what's going to happen now and in the future. It's a repeat of history on rewind that comes over and over and over again, where governments rise up and become anti-God. Christians are doing well, and then the culture begins to persecute, and Christians are faced whether to compromise or not compromise, followers of Christ. It's a reciprocal thing. I mean, rhetorical thing over and over and over again. So Jesus says, I will make those who are the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars. I will make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I have loved you. In this particular city of Philadelphia, you had a gathering of Jewish people who did not accept the risen Lord as Jesus the Messiah, the Son of God. And as a result, they who were accepted by Rome, because Judaism was a very old religion and they had good connections and it didn't try to supersede Caesar as emperor, began to call out and point out where the Christians were and what they were doing, and caused trouble for them in Rome. Ironically, the same thing that the Nazis did to the Jews in turn were doing to followers of Christ. We're going to talk some more about this next week, and I'll show that in a minute, but acknowledge that I have loved you. There's going to come a day when those who cause trouble for you, who do not accept Jesus as the Messiah, the Son of God, are going to bow down and acknowledge that Jesus Most High loved you. Not that he took care of you, not that he knew your name, but that he loved you. So he's telling people in Philadelphia, look, you're going to be rejected. Can y'all relate? But you're going to be loved by Jesus. Not going to be, you already are. And for some of us, that's just a phrase. Oh, Jesus loves me, this I know, for the tells me so. And Jesus is telling the church in Philadelphia that, look, persecution is going to come. It's already here. People are going to rise up, and other religions are going to rise up and try to put you down. But I love you with a love that's true. In the culture, the synagogue said, you don't belong. And Jesus says, no, no, no. I have loved you. They rejected the followers of Christ. And Jesus declared his love for them. They tried to close the door to stop them. But Jesus has already opened it up, and no one can open or shut it except him. Other people, my mom, my dad, you don't determine my standing before God, and I don't determine yours before God. My guess is most of us, like the people in Philadelphia, have heard stuff like this before. You're a failure. You don't matter. You'll never change. Really? You don't belong here. Come on, go. You're too broken. You're not good enough. God does still love them. You're right. You've been looking at my notes. So when the world and others, ultimately evil, seeks to pull you away and to mess with your foundation, right? Jesus is telling the church in Philadelphia, I love you. I showed you on the cross. Forgave you from the cross. Since you have kept my command to endure patiently. It takes a long time. Some of you are enduring and going through situations right now that require more patience than you ever dreamed of. And in some of our cases, God has stepped right in, and it's obvious that he's working. And in others, we're like, where are you, God? But God is still there. This morning, talking to the teenagers, I asked them, one of them said, why does God let bad things happen? Because we have free will. We have choices. We can choose to endure patiently, or we can tap out and say, I'm done. When we tap out, we end up in the same hopelessness of the world around us, seeking to pacify ourselves with things that we know don't satisfy. He says, since you have kept my command to endure patiently, I will keep you from the trial that is going to come on the whole world to test the inhabitants of the earth. A trial is going to come, and I'm going to keep you surrounded by trial, but kept by Jesus. He's saying, look, you're surrounded by it. It's coming. You're already experiencing it. Those of you who have family in Ephesus and Sardis and other places, you know what's going on. You see it happening here, but I'm going to keep you. And when the trial comes and it gets greater and greater and greater, I'm still going to keep you. So endure. Some are facing hospice today. Some are living with poor health or looking for work. Some of our very own and people we know are living in poverty. Some are grieving. Not just the loss in death, but the physical, emotional loss of family and friends. Our life that didn't turn out the way we thought it would, or whatever else it may be. And then some are doing well and living with plenty, more than you could ask for. Jesus understands that whether we have a lot or whether we have a little, whether we're in comfort or whether we're in discomfort, our faith is going to be tested. Because whether you're the richest person on the planet or the poorest person on the planet, the same fate awaits us all. And Jesus says, I got you. And so what he's doing here, I'm taking a little sidestep here. He's trying to get his people to see things from the bigger picture, from an eternal perspective. Because when you understand the eternal perspective, even though the current situation is hard and difficult, it helps us have hope for a better place, to endure. So back to my camping story. Obviously, danger came close, paw prints. Was it wolves? I will say this, for those who were kind of laughing earlier. It's good that we went camping in a different location. Because my daddy, y'all know him as Ken Wright Sr., he likes to scare people. And he went and got a Halloween mask with fangs and teeth and hair and came out to scare us, but he went where we were going to be instead of where we were. And where he went, there was a panther, a mountain lion. So I don't know what walked around us. I didn't see it. But I know danger came close enough to leave paw prints, and all of our food was gone, licked clean and eaten. Got into our tent, it was gone. But God kept us. Danger all around us, but he took care of us. We need to understand what Jesus is telling us. Say, look, I'm going to keep you, I'm holding you, but that doesn't mean hard times and trials and struggles and fear aren't going to be present. How many times have you seen a movie and been moved to tears when a mother is holding her baby and the end, you know, those apocalyptic type movies, the world's coming to an end? How many of you seen Titanic? Yeah, and you're sitting there and the husband and the wife are curled up on the bed down below because the ship's sinking and they know there's nowhere to go. They're just holding each other. Being kept doesn't mean we don't lose some things. God kept Jesus. And Jesus still went to the cross. It means we're surrounded by stuff that can destroy us. But it doesn't ultimately destroy us. Death's lost its sting, right? 1 Corinthians chapter 15. Where, O death, where is your sting? Swallowed up in victory. Why? Through the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus. So I'm going to stop right here. Commercial. Who's ever heard of the rapture? Who's ever heard of end times? Who has heard somebody recently on social media for the last several years, the end is coming, the end is near. Oh my! Look at the moon, look at the storms. People start, all of a sudden, when life starts getting a little shaky and they can't explain it, they start diving into Revelation with no idea what they're talking about, usually. So we're going to dive into Revelation specifically on this topic next week. Because it's going to take more time to grasp it than we have this morning. Jesus says, I am coming soon. Hold on to what you have so that no one will take your crown. Jesus is saying, look, things are rough. I'm holding you. I'm coming. Hold on to what you have. Well, what do they have? His word. They've kept it. His name. They did not and have not denied his name. Patient endurance. They are being faithful in the waiting for him to come. They're loyal to Jesus, even with little strength. People are worshiping Caesar. People are worshiping Zeus. People are worshiping Molech. They're worshiping all kinds of gods. And they, like the Apostle Paul in the book of Romans, are saying, I am not ashamed of the gospel of Christ. I stand on this rock. We may not have a lot of influence in the world because our numbers are small and tiny, but God is moving. God is stronger than our influence. And they have the promise set before them. What's that? The open door. That Jesus loved them, that Jesus' power is keeping them, and that they are coming crowned. There is a victory coming. The crown there is a victor's crown. So their present situation isn't permanent. Neither is yours. Their opposition is not permanent. Because sooner or later we step into eternity, do we not? We're there now. Their weakness is not permanent. Their poverty is not permanent. Their sickness isn't permanent. Their grief isn't permanent. Comfort, success, health, abundance, they're not permanent. My dad's told me several times, I've had it and I've lost it. I've had it and I've lost it. Paul says, I know what it is to have a lot and what it is to have a little. It comes and goes. But again, Jesus is pointing to the eternal perspective. And we, just like them, people of that time period, fall into looking at everything right here. And Jesus is saying, for the joy set before you, the crown, fix your eyes on me. Trust me. Endure. And you will succeed in victory. So hold on when your medical report is frightening, terrifying. When that job doesn't come. When money gets tight. When grief sits right next to you. When your strength is small. Hold on. See in movies all the time, I'm slipping, don't let go. Anybody ever see Cliffhanger? It's an old movie, you might see it. What happens in Cliffhanger? In the beginning, there's a person going across a rope, right? It's an old movie. Y'all need to watch it. It's a Sylvester Stallone movie. But there's a lady, and she's going like this with her feet up across on a rope cable from one side to another. And along the way, it starts to come undone. And Sylvester Stallone, being the hero, he runs out there to get her. And she slips, and he grabs her hand. He's holding on to her. But he can't hold on forever. And she begins to slip. And his hands open and she falls. And he's haunted by the look on her face. And some of us have been dropped. Not because people didn't try, but they're not Jesus. They're not the rock on which I stand. Jesus is. And Jesus doesn't say, Paul's going to hold you. He doesn't say Peter's going to hold you or Mary's going to hold you. He says, I am holding you. Even when you don't have a lot of strength. It's not whether you can hold on with all you got. And if you let go, you're holding with the tips of your fingers. I still got you. Hold on when life's going well. Why? Because faithfulness is worth it. Because Jesus is coming and a crown is waiting. Hebrew writer says in Hebrews chapter 12, therefore, for the joy set before him, Jesus endured the cross. Until eternity with Jesus becomes what we're fixated on, we will always struggle. Here's what I mean. Struggle's coming whether we got faith or not, right? Fair? So what is it that you're looking beyond and holding on to that's solid and unchangeable? Your house, your car, your education, your abilities, your health. If it's that, then you got nothing to hold on to. It's gone, fleeting, here today, gone tomorrow. But if you hold on to Jesus and trust him that what he says is true because he is true, that crown's yours. because of what he's done. So we've got to learn to live in the present, waiting for our King. He's already here. But the waiting here we're talking about here is his second coming. Jesus comes in judgment on mankind throughout history, and we're going to see that next week. But there's also a second coming, a final coming, when the doors of the ark close and the floods come. When the earth melts and Jesus comes. There is a time when he's coming and we wait patiently for the King. While everybody else is running around and freaking out, signs and wonders and fears, oh my. We're like, no, we got this because he does. And that gets people's attention. The one who is victorious, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God, and they will never leave it. You need to understand that in Philadelphia, that part of Asia, it was susceptible to a lot of, not tornadoes, a lot of earthquakes. The ground was shaky, faulty, you name it, and rumbling all the time. But I will make them a pillar in the temple of my God. When everybody else is running, when everybody else is discounting you, when people come and go, you're going to be like a pillar in the temple of God. In a pillar, they would put things on it. When the world shakes, when health shakes, when employment shakes, when finances shake, when families shake, when institutions that we put our hopes in shake, our emotions shake, our confidence shakes. He's saying, no. I'm going to make you permanent. When everything else is shaking and the world's crumbling down, I'm going to make you a solid pillar. I will write on them the name of my God and the name of the city of my God. The new Jerusalem, which is coming down out of heaven from my God, I will also write on them my new name. The name of God. You belong to God is what he's saying. On this pillar in the temple of God. Now, God's not held by a temple. He's using figurative language they can understand. But he's saying, look, I'm going to put you, you are a pillar, and on that pillar, you belong to me. You're mine. You're not forgotten. You're not abandoned. You are solid. So when the world's running this way and that way, like Jesus says in Matthew, worrying about everything like the pagans do, we're trusting him because we're his. And on that pillar, the name of God's city, you have a home. You are a citizen in the coming of the new kingdom, the citizen of the new Jerusalem. And too often we take that figuratively and metaphorically. That we're just talking about when he comes again, we go to heaven. We're citizens in the kingdom today. And we have the new name of Jesus, your identity and future. We're permanently connected to him, our victorious King. Caesar's going to fail you. But Jesus is not. And he's telling these people who are used to a world that's disturbed and falling apart and crumbling and the things they trusted in, that they're going to be a pillar in his kingdom. They're going to be solid. Because he is solid. The very thing Jesus told us in Matthew chapter 7. Blessed is the one who hears these words of mine and puts them in practice. He is like a wise man who built his house on the rock, and when the troubles and the storms and the insecurity and the mess of the world around us was going on, stands firm. People want to label us all the time, don't they? I'm so sick of social media. A black person did this, a white person did that, a Hispanic person did this. I'm sick of taking score. And if you're doing that, shame on you. We are one people in the kingdom of God. And when we recognize that and we step into the identity that we are the pillar of God, made into that by him, that we are named by God, quit letting the world put labels on you. They don't get to identify who you are. God does. Tripp's name is Kenneth Wainwright III. We gave him that name. Ford is Kenneth Wainwright IV. They gave him that name. Jerry is Jerry Trahan. His parents gave him that name. And nobody else is going to change that. They can call him all the nicknames they want. But the name his parents gave him is his name. God gave you a name. Whoever has ears, let them hear what the Spirit says to the churches. You've seen that theme over and over again, these two chapters, huh? Let them hear, let them see, let them hear. In other words, listen to what Jesus is saying. It's a choice. And I'm going to love you whether you listen to him or not. And I hope you'll love me whether I listen to him or not. But I'm choosing to listen to him. It's the only thing that makes my life have sense and peace. I'm going to be leaving after this to go over to see Forrest and to see Julie. And I've done that before, and I've gone to the hospitals to visit, but this will be the first time I've sat down with him since he's been put on hospice. He's been fighting cancer since 2018. And Julie's words to me yesterday was, God's got this. Come what may. That's faith. And so I'm going to commune with them in a few minutes like we did earlier. And this communion is remembering that God is true. And what he says is true. And if I'll just hold on, he's going to keep me. Your night might be dark. But dawn is coming. The sun is rising. And Jesus has the final word. We live in a culture where everybody's trying to get the last word in, right? How awesome is it that Jesus says, nope, I got it. I got the final word. And that word is, you're victorious in and through me. If you would, let's stand. I'm going to ask Tripp, if he would, to go to the back corner on this side with Ray. And I'm going to ask Jerry, if he would, to go to this back left corner with Jason. And if you feel like you'd like to pray with somebody, you can do that with either one of them, these groups, or somebody up here, or wherever you want to when you get home. But prayer of a righteous people, made righteous by God, is powerful and effective. Jesus has the final word in your life.